Yay! Yeah. All is good. It's nice. It's nice out today. Weather's
Spring has
beautiful.
arrived.
Mm-hmm.
It has sprung.
Yes, I love it.
Oopsie.
Hiya, girls.
Hiya!
Hiya.
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 How's it going?
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. Spring has sprung, and it's a new world.
It surely is.
Beautiful.
Sunshine, lots of leaves on the ground
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
have to pick up. But
There's a lot of pollen here. Do you
Is
guys
there?
get pollen there?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got a ton
Texas
of pollen.
is very known for pollen.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Lots.
Well,
but
hello to
everything's
our
green.
listeners.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hello, listeners.
Hi,
How many do you think we
listeners.
have now?
We might have 6 today.
I think so. And let me tell you, we actually got a question from last week from our
No
Camino.
way.
Yeah, we did. It's
Where's she from?
It's Charlotte. She's from Wisconsin. And
Okay.
Hiya,
she actually-
Charlotte.
she-
Thank
yeah,
you.
so she listened to our Camino talk last week, and she just told us that she thought the Camino trip sounded awesome, and she wanted to really back up a little bit and figure out how we all met before we got onto this Camino trip. So
Ah, that's
that was-
good.
I thought that was a good question. So
It's a good
I don't know.
question. So who wants to start?
How did we meet, Jana?
I mean,
you're the
Yeah.
one who, you are
I mean,
the
I'll-
link. You're
I'll-
the magic.
I'm the connector. I feel like I'm the connector.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Victoria.
Yes.
Yeah, which is so hard to get out because I've known her as Tish my whole life. And but we were elementary schoolmates, and so we met in fourth grade. So that was
Yeah.
golly, 40
A long
something
time
years
ago.
ago. Is a really long time ago. So and then Jen I met in college, and we went to OT school together. And it's funny because I talked about both of you to each other forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so anyway, and we finally all got together. I don't know. I think was it my wedding, which was 3 years ago because I just had an anniversary, and it's
Yeah.
like everybody just was like clicking, and
Yeah.
and then we went and visited Jen and I went and visited Tish, and I don't know. And that's where the conversation came from for the Camino. So, yeah. But
Okay,
my
so can
friends
I
are
jump
all
in?
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jana and I have been friends for over 20 years. And
Yep.
for 15 of those years or 16 of those years, I heard about Tish. And I think probably both
Vice
ways,
versa.
right? And so when I finally met Tish at Jana's wedding, neither one of us wanted to get a hotel room. So we stayed at Jana's house.
Yeah.
And we slept in the same bed.
Yes, you did.
And we stayed up and talked and giggled until 4 a.m.
Yeah, we
And
did.
I think we kind of woke up the whole house or kept
Oh
the
my
whole
God,
house
I was so
up.
jealous. I was so jealous because I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not in there. I can hear you across the hallway. I was like,
You could
What
have
the
come in
heck?
there.
I should
I
have.
mean,
On your
we
wedding
were right in
night.
the middle.
Yeah. Or we could have come and joined you and Josh. You know,
True. That would have been interesting. So,
that
yeah.
would have been a memorable wedding night.
Exactly. Yes, but I did. I heard y'all all night. It was so funny. It was so awesome.
But it
though. What
was-
a great.
I
Cool
know
thing.
it was so cool. And
Yeah,
then,
it was.
yeah. And so I just am so thankful that we finally got to meet each other. And just, can you tell real quick, one of you, Tish, tell about how you two met? It's my favorite story about you riding on the bike.
Oh, God.
It makes
Or
me cry.
Jana.
It makes me.
Who rode the bike?
Tish.
Jana was riding the bike.
Me. It was me.
It was all Jana.
Okay, tell it, Tish.
Yeah, it was so sweet. And I'm already on an emotional week, so I am not
Yeah,
gonna
you are.
cry.
Probably cry.
But
crying.
yeah, my dad was I don't know, how old were we? 9, 8 or 9?
Yeah, I think we're 8 or 9. I think we're
9.
8 actually.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like I moved away when
And
I
my
was 10.
dad
So.
always had like a full list of chores that I used to have to do on the weekends and at nights and stuff. And sorry, I'm trying to hear myself, so I got to take one of these out. I stuck them down way deep, so I can't hear anything. But so my dad used to have a list of chores for me to do, and that day I happened to be outside mowing the lawn, and I was really, really, really shy when I was young, and I don't think I talked to anybody. I don't remember kindergarten. I have zero memories of kindergarten. I have zero memories of first grade. I think I remember second grade, there was some kind of pie walk or something. People brought pies, and it was, did you guys have that back in the day?
Yeah, we had something like that. Yeah.
Like musical chairs, right? Where you would go and you could pick out a pie. I don't remember.
Something like that, yeah. So it was some kind of pie walk. I remember that back in second grade. And then third grade came, and we had moved. We had just moved into a new area. And I started going to Vale Pittman. Was it Vale Pittman?
Yeah, it's Vale Pittman. Vegas.
And I was quiet. I mean, I felt like we just started the year. Maybe we were in our first or second week. Yeah. And I was outside mowing the lawn, and I couldn't mow the damn thing. It was so heavy, and I was pissed off.
Poor Tish.
Poor me.
She had a lot of chores.
And I mean, I'm serious. It wasn't easy. And so I was out there pissed off. And then Jana, like this little girl on a little bike, that little banana bike, and she's got red hair, and she's like, just keeps going back and forth in front of me, and I would not look up. Like, I was so shy. She's going this way and then going back this way, and then she comes back and she's smiling, trying to get my attention. I was like, I'm not looking up. And then my dad comes out, and he's watching the whole thing, and she finally goes, "Hi, Victoria." And my dad's like, "You need to go say something. Like, say hello." And I'm like, "Hi." And then she's like this sitting, and she even stopped her bike, and she's like waving. And my dad goes, "Go talk to her. She's in your class." And I'm like, "Yeah, she's in my class. Go talk to her." So I walked over there, and Jana's like, "Can you play? Can you come out? Do you have a bike?
Yeah,
What's your favorite thing to do? What's your dad's name? How long have you lived here?" And I'm like,
"Oh my God,
whatever."
I'm sorry.
Jan, that's so
She was
I'm not
so
sure
cute.
Just like that.
No, but you were a lot more talkative. Like, you were not shy. You had no problem like trying to introduce yourself or find out, if I could play. What am I doing? Why am I mowing the lawn?
I wish that would have stuck with me my whole life, but it's crazy how outgoing I was back then. Yeah.
You really were. I mean, she was really outgoing, and it just changed my whole life. Like, I remember everything from the third grade on.
Oh,
yeah. I always tell her, she's my angel. Like, she just, the whole trajectory of my life changed. It was truly a gift. Jan's been truly a gift in my life.
Then I just became a stalker because then when you left Vegas and I left for Texas, I came back and I couldn't find her, and she hadn't talked to me in forever. And I was like, I'm going to keep driving by that old house. She didn't even live there. And I'll be damned, she was there the day I drove by.
Yeah, we had rented it out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They
for
were
real.
cleaning.
Yeah. And they happened to be there. It was the weirdest
thing. They
thing.
were cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that was fate,
listen,
girls.
Yeah.
That was fate.
I was like, you're gonna be my friend forever. Don't leave me. I know what you're thinking.
Well, what was really cute too is when we were in elementary school together. Literally, we spent so much time, right? I mean, morning, noon, and night. We spent as much time as we could together, and we used to sneak into her sister's room and make these tapes. Do you remember that, Jana?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
We would do fake interviews.
Yeah. We were like talk show hosts. And then the guests. Yes. It was good.
and we taped it on her sister's recorder because they used to have those. It wasn't 8-track. What would you call that? Those
She
little
had a
tape recorders.
Cassette tapes.
Cassette.
Yeah,
Cassettes,
cassette. It
yeah.
was a cassette. Yeah.
It was a cassette player. And what's funny is when Jana came back and looked for me, and we just happened to be at that house, she still had that, not with her, but she still had that tape.
I feel a little weird.
Tish,
tell you
remember
this-
our cassettes?
Do you remember this cassette? Do you want to listen? It'd be great. Oh my god. Yeah, that would be weird.
It was so cute. But yeah, you still had that
it's gone
cassette
now,
back then.
so.
It was just funny. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
just
love
funny,
that story. I love
Yeah,
it.
it was sweet.
yeah, I know.
Very, very
It's a
sweet.
cute little kid story for sure. I know it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is awesome. My besties.
That's how we met.
All in one spot. So
Yeah.
all right. So let's move on to our I am statements. I'll go ahead and
that's
start
right.
since I'm bringing it up. So I
All right.
think this week, I feel like I need to tell myself I am patient and I am kind to myself. That's my
I like
for the
that.
week. Yeah. So how about y'all? We'll go Jennifer. Jennifer, what you got?
I would say what I'm trying to convince myself of subconsciously is I am able to learn anything that I put my mind to. So I have
that's
new
good.
projects and new things that are coming my way, and I don't completely understand everything or know next steps, but I do believe that I am able to learn whatever I need to.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
that's
one.
what I'm working on.
Yeah, I
Nice.
like that a lot.
What about you, Tish?
I have to look. I have to remember. I had a few of them today when I was walking. I'm like, oh, I like that I am statement. I think I had 6.
Overachiever.
Yeah, right.
Mine is I am watching my life blossom.
Ah,
Oh, that's
Aw.
cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was walking, so I saw these
Yeah.
flowering, trees and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. I'm a late
like
bloomer.
A flower.
That's me.
I'm a flower.
A
You're not a
gentle,
late
sweet-
bloomer. There's negative talk right there. You are a bloomer all the time, girl.
That's right.
All the
I'm
time.
always blooming.
I'm in
Always
bloom.
blooming. Yeah.
Always have pollen.
Yes, we're in our 50s and we're blooming.
We're blooming. I know.
I'm still full
Yeah.
of pollen.
Pollen. All right. Well, so does anybody have a story? Something fun happened this week or whatever? Not about pollen.
I do.
What?
And it's about
Yeah.
pollen.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
What
is
a nice
actually.
segue. What a nice segue.
How did that work out?
Now that you bring up pollen, I happen to have a
Let's-
story about it.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
that's right.
pollen,
All right, go ahead, Tish. What is it?
Yeah, it was funny though. So this last, I don't know, maybe it was 7 or 8 days ago, I looked in my email and there was a message from somebody I had known years ago. But this, well, let me
Male or
back-
female? Can
Male.
you please? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it was through Facebook because I guess that's how he got a hold of me. So of course, you go down that rabbit hole of Facebook,
Oh, jeez.
oh yeah.
and I hit
Please
the picture.
don't tell me he's married.
No, he's not married. But I hit the picture, and he looks amazing. He's got all these pictures on there, and
Oh,
he's
dear.
had jobs in LA, I guess, writing, and he's working for some
Oh, good for him.
company, and doing really well. I don't know if he has a girlfriend or not. I'll be honest, I don't know if he ever had a girlfriend during those times.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So
Wow.
I didn't have a boyfriend, but I never asked. Like we never went down that road. So anyway, I read it and I was like, I think I'm going to put a little time and space in between this response, to make sure that I'm not losing my head and that I do something because I'm just insecure and want to hear somebody go, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And then a couple days ago, I was sitting on TikTok like I do, and I was scrolling through, and Lady Gaga was on there, and I absolutely love her. And I wrote it down because I was like, I'm going to remember this. I put it on my board. But she wrote, I got to read it. She said, I realized I can always bring the past with me, but I can never go back. And she's like, as soon as I realized, like, I'm bringing the past with me, but the truth is I can never go back to that person. And that wanting that is stopping my growth. And then she said, you've got to leave yourself behind to grow.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's right, man. I got to leave that. That is not me. Like, first of all, like, we went swimming in the ocean a few times when I would go down and see him, and we would laugh our ass off and get pummeled by I would never go in the ocean again, ever.
I mean, sharks.
Simple things.
I'm older and I know that there's sharks.
Yeah.
Out there. Thank you very much, mister.
There's so many things. Like, when I went back to New York, we went ice skating. Like, that was magical. All the magical shit that we did, like, that stuff, like, I'm not going putting ice skates back on again. Like, I'm not sitting in a bar getting wasted drunk trying to pick fights anymore. Like, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in my 40s, like when I met him in my 40s. But now in my 50s, I'm like, I have literally grown out of that. You know,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Jana. I did just yell at a band a couple years ago, but
I mean, it wasn't so
I don't know what
long
happened. I
ago,
lost my
but
mind.
That was funny.
Old
Anyway,
habits
that's a whole
die
nother
hard,
podcast.
Tish.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what are you doing?
But yeah, it was just
Like,
crazy. Because as
Yeah.
soon as I saw that on TikTok, and you know, I truly like believe in those. I believe in timing 100%.
Yeah.
And then when I heard her say that, I was like, man, it's so true. That is not, I mean, and not that it would be bad if that was still my headspace.
Right.
Right.
I would do it and not judge at all myself. But knowing, like, that's not where I'm at right now. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe
not the
he's not
journey
there
that I
either,
want
though.
to take myself.
He may
Oh, no,
not
I
be
can tell
there
he was there by
either.
his email.
Oh, he was? Okay. All right. If it sounded like then you're
He's
right.
young.
You're totally right.
He's 9 years younger. So, you know, yeah, and I could tell just by looking through his, you know, I did the whole Facebook
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
That you
I'm
taught
with
me.
you. It's just
I didn't even know how to do
smart.
it.
It's smart. So
Jana and I sat one night looking up all our old friends
Old
from elementary school.
From elementary. I mean, can you imagine
We found
elementary?
some.
We did find some. There's a lot.
Well, it is curious
yeah.
to see what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
That's why everybody goes to class reunions, right? To see what everybody's
Yeah.
doing and how many
Yeah,
kids
for
they
sure.
have and how they've aged and all of that good
Yes.
stuff.
I know, it's true.
Yeah.
It's probably why
Oh,
anybody
that's a
goes.
good story, Tish. Think
is a
how
good
much
story.
you've grown.
Yeah.
So did
And
you
now I saw his
respond
name.
or did you just
No.
not? You're not going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
He wants
I
his sugar mama back.
I know. He was like, that bitch was awesome. I'm gonna message her.
Older, she had money, she was
She
fun.
was fun. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So I think we need to go back to the Camino because obviously that's what kind of tied us all together, really tied us together. But I've been looking at Camino pictures. You know, I always like maybe once every 6 months I go back and watch the videos and look at the pictures. And it was just such a cool experience in so many different levels. And I wanted to just talk about it. Like, what did you guys feel like if you could tell one story or one thing that surprised you? Like, we know we were going to walk a lot. We knew we were going to be sore, you know, but what was one thing that you were surprised? Like, oh, I didn't really anticipate feeling that or experiencing that. You guys have any
Jana?
ideas?
I think about this, and it's funny because I go back through pictures. I have a lot of videos actually. And the one video that I have is of Russell doing a little ditty on his guitar. But I think the interesting part of that story, and we'll get to who Russell is, but is how we were walking, right? And, you know, we're just walking, we're making stories up as we see things and we're talking, whatever. But he left lots of those little notes in the ground, which were paper.
Yeah.
If you remember, when we first started, they were paper, and he'd write a little. And I wish I could remember exactly what he wrote. I think we have a couple pictures, somewhere, but at first it was sort of like these poetic quotes off the top of his head, and then and they were like,
they seemed strained, like they seemed like he was in pain. Yeah.
And they almost got like
tortured.
A little bit more.
Tortured,
and the more, then we'd walk, I don't know how many more miles, and we'd find another note, and then we find another note. Then it turned into spray paint, and then there was some glue on the ground. I mean, it was like all these little clues.
And then blood.
That we were like, holy shit, Russell's going down. Like he's having, but I mean,
we got to find him and help him.
It was true, because at first it was kind of like, oh, poor guy, lost his girlfriend. He's probably just having a little emotional. He's on the Camino to get over his girlfriend. Like we had all kinds of great stories, because that's what we do. And anyway, but as we went along, so I'm just going to fast forward. But as we went along, they started getting a little bit more emotional, and then almost didn't make sense, And we were like, what the? And then he did spray paint somewhere along the way. We're like, oh, shit, he's lost it.
Yeah, he spray painted.
He's vandalizing.
We gotta hurry. And I just remember walking, and y'all were ahead of me for whatever reason. And I remember kind of looking over to the left, and I was like, oh, there's a guitar. Because when he signed his name Russell, he'd put a guitar next to it.
The guitar guy.
I remember going, holy shit, there's a guitar right there. And then the next thing I knew, the guy was like by the fence. And then I'm like screaming at y'all. Be like, I think it's him. It's a guitar. I think it's Russell. Anyway, and then of course Jen turns around. Oh, hey, are you Russell? And then of course it turned into this whole, like us talking to him, and it was quite a sad story, really. I mean, he had
it
lost
was devastating.
I don't know if it was it was a long life partner. I don't know if it was his wife or whatever, but she had died of cancer.
I think it was his wife.
Was it? Okay. And he quit his job and literally just has been walking, and I don't know. So it kind of turned all these funny, here we are making all these funny stories and jokes and things like that. And then it just like all of us were like, oh my God.
Turned out to be true.
That's brutal. That's brutal. So it was just interesting
it was
how
crazy.
Your emotions change.
Yeah. When you actually meet the person.
Yeah.
And it was crazy too, because it seemed like we were playing when we were saying, oh, he looks tortured. They're getting worse. He looks like he's going to kill himself. Yeah. We were kidding, because remember we used to scream in the forest, don't worry, Russell, we're coming for you. Remember?
Hang on, Russell. Hang on,
Russell.
We knew he was not far ahead, if you remember, because he was leaving paper notes, and it was raining, and the paper was still dry. So we were like, oh shit, he's not far ahead. We're going to get him. Like, we're going to catch up. I knew at some point we would catch up with him. But we did make lots of funny stories about him. And then to meet him in person was quite...
and those stories weren't far off.
They weren't.
Yeah. It was just real... It actually just kind of... if I can turn this into an everyday life thing, but how you don't know people and you see how they act, or they might just not be a very nice person. But now I feel like I am a little bit more empathetic towards those people, because I'm like, there's the heartbreak in there. Like there's something, they're really negative or crabby or whatever. And it's because they've gone through some stuff, or they're going through some stuff. I don't know. It's just, it is true. I do forget though, like as I go through everyday life, because you still kind of do it. And, we laugh. So that's what got us through the Camino. So we make up stories and giggle and all of that. But when it came to light, we were like, oh, that's not funny anymore, So anyway, that was my one. I feel like that was a real kind of kick in the ass story, really, on the Camino, where it was really all fun and games until you came into what it was really about. So
The real pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
real pain
remember,
for sure.
he had walked the whole thing and he was walking back.
Yes,
And
that's
he was
right.
going back the other way. And he had just sold all of his things that he and
Yep.
his now deceased wife had
Yep.
worked for. And remember, that's
Yeah.
kind of what he was saying was we work hard, we kick our asses, we work. And for what? For what?
Yeah.
She's
Mhm.
gone,
Yeah, it's very true.
and so then he had zero money, remember? And we gave him our
I
rain
remember
jackets.
yeah, and I remember him saying he had a good job. Like it wasn't he had a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
stable job, and he just kind of upped and left his life. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
I hope he's okay now.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's like
It takes
sad
time.
to
That.
think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
the interesting thing is that's what the Camino was about for a lot of people, really. I mean, they were all finding
Yeah.
something. We met a lot of people on that trip that were really going through struggles. Like here we are, just
Yeah.
like giggling little girls, but there
Laughing
were like
and-
people
yeah.
do that trip really to find something, you know, or
Yeah.
to
Peace.
be. They were all
Yeah.
going through, find peace. They were all going through a lot of struggles. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say though, it's interesting. I see this a lot where I think it's kind of natural to judge something right away. You know, in our case, we were laughing about it, and we didn't know him, so you know, I think it was totally natural and normal to be. We were making up stories. We were, you know, just
Yeah.
passing time.
Yeah.
We didn't know him, and I see that in everyday life. Like, it's easy to laugh and enjoy things and just talk about situations and people, and it doesn't matter what aspect of life. But I swear, the minute you meet them, not always, but the minute you meet somebody and you're face to face with that, it's really nice how the humanity comes in.
Yeah.
Like when you see somebody in pain, when you see somebody suffering, when you see somebody and it doesn't even have to be mourning or something tragic. It could just simply be when somebody's showing you their human side, like, hey, this happened to me and I feel raw, or I'm embarrassed. I just fell. I just, you know, went to cross the street and I stumbled over myself.
Yeah.
It's funny how you can make fun of it, like in a circle laughing with friends and stuff, but when you actually see it, your humanity, like your heart just explodes with love.
Yes.
And I don't think it's just one person. I see it all the time. You know, I see people stopping when something really serious happens and then just pull together and go, hey, what do you need? Let's all do a food drive. Let's do clothes. Let's pick them up, you know, I've seen not just one person go and run and pick somebody up, but a few people. Somebody's grabbing the groceries off the floor. The other person's helping picking them up. And it kind of reminds me of that story, because that really was what happened. Like we were laughing until he became a real person. There was a part of me, like, I never actually thought he was real. I mean, that's why I was even more ridiculous about it, like thinking it was a joke.
Right.
And then Jennifer, I remember you saying to him, can I just give you a hug?
Yeah.
And I think he started crying. And we were all touched. And then we all went in and gave him a hug. And I mean, you can't help, I think as you know, when you see people or animals or anything suffering, it's like this, something comes up inside of you. And if it comes up inside of you and you don't do anything about it, I think that's just growth. Like I know people feel it, but you don't always feel open to be able to reach out because of the people around you or the culture you're in, or that you're a kid, you know, and your friends are going to make fun of you. But I still think we all have that instantaneous, like, let me see if I can help, you know?
We hope so, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I think I see it, you know?
I see that a lot, like when people are prejudiced against a certain kind of person or a certain, you know, ethnicity or whatever. But they always say, but I have a friend that is whatever. And it's, well, I don't know how to say it, but once you know somebody personally, that, like you said, it brings a humanity to it. And I would hope that everybody gives everybody the benefit of the doubt and allows
Mm.
themselves to experience Russell. I mean, we could have just walked by him and said nothing,
Yeah.
but we really took the time to care and listen to him. And he played us some music on his guitar,
He
and he
did. That's
wasn't
what I
horrible.
listened to.
Yeah, it
that's what I
wasn't
listened to
great,
today.
but
Well,
he
the
wasn't
guitar
horrible.
was crap.
The guitar
Remember?
was very out of tune. I just listened to it today, to be honest. And the guitar, but his voice was actually really good. The guitar was just. But do you remember so we found crazy glue along the route, and we were like, "What the hell's he doing now?"
I don't remember
with
that.
this glue.
Crazy glue.
I do. Yeah, it was like super glue. It was a little thing of super glue, and we were like, "What the hell?" But then later, his whole guitar was full of little trinkets that he found along the Camino.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's right.
And it was just all glued on his guitar. So that's what the crazy glue was for. I don't know. It's just kind of cool. It's like, whoa, that's awesome. Anyway.
I think that's the beauty of traveling.
Yeah.
That you get to meet so many cool, different people that you would never in your bubble at home, or you could even do it at home. But when you travel, even if it's in the States, it just allows you to, I think it's good for our kids too, to meet
for
new
sure.
and
I totally
different
agree.
people and not only connect to people on the phone.
Yes. I wish I would have done it
It's
a lot
fun-
more when I was younger.
Me too.
It's funny talking about Russell. It just reminded me, I don't know what you said, Jennifer, just now, but it was about like, I hope that everybody has that, ability to reach out. It's funny, again, I mean, this sounds so stupid, but it just keeps taking me back to that Lady Gaga interview where you have to be willing to leave yourself behind.
Yep.
And it's like there's no way to grow. If you haven't been raised kind, or in a kind environment, or in an environment that's very open to differences, that doesn't mean you don't see that there's a better, easier way of life, right? A more loving, kind way of life.
Right.
But you have to be able to let that old self go. It's like we're constantly having to recreate this identity of, oh yeah, I did think that. I was like that. But that's not who I'm growing into. And it goes back to these whole I am statements. Because when I heard you tell your I am statement, Jennifer, and you said something like, this is what I'm trying to convince myself. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, you are. Like, as soon as you say I am, I really do believe.
Yeah.
And you keep saying it. It's not a matter of trying to convince yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but I do believe in this whole idea of adopting new, original ideas for ourselves. This growth. I don't think there's any other way of growing. I think it's this constant, what am I today? Oh, I am a person who is hopeful. I am a person who sees the future more brightly today, right? Maybe yesterday I didn't, but I'm willing to leave that behind.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when I heard that, it was so powerful and moving to me, because I thought, shit, there are things that I think I've been unwilling to leave behind, thinking that I'm not going to be funny anymore or entertaining anymore, or I'm not going to be able to sit around my group of family and get along the same way. And it's like, wait a minute, am I willing to leave that stuff behind to embrace something that's totally new, and might be, or definitely for me, I feel is much more beneficial at this stage of my life, like prosperity. Am I willing to leave behind the bitching about, oh man, I wish I had more money. Yeah, you know what? I am willing to leave that me behind. And I'm willing to walk in today and go, oh, I'm feeling prosperous. Oh, I'm feeling really positive today about money. It's just flowing to me.
Yeah.
Am I willing to walk into that today and leave behind who I was yesterday? And Russell is the same way. He's trying to find the new identity of living without his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at some point, he's going to have to say, am I willing to let go and leave that identity behind? It takes much longer in mourning.
Right.
But at some point, he's going to have to say that. Am I willing to let go of being a husband to my wife that I lost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, not to get too serious. You want me to turn the music back on?
Yeah, for God's sake.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, but
Thanks, Tish, for sharing that.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Tish,
not
you
to
say
get
some
deep
cuss
or
words or
anything.
something.
Yeah. Right, I know.
Yeah.
Cheer us up. Come on.
I'm just trying to think of something I remember that stands out on the Camino that you said that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. I'll do mine real quick.
All right. Yeah.
So I've never stayed in a hostel. And
really?
never even thought about it. Like
Me
that was
either.
never on my radar that I would
Or want
be
to.
in a
Who wants
hostel
to,
with
really?
strangers, right? No, I don't know who wants to, but I sure as hell didn't. But Tish
I
did
still
kind of the
don't
planning
now.
for the. Yeah, that hasn't changed.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad.
But it was such a good experience to stay in a hostel. But it hit me hard when, first of all, when I don't remember where we were, but it was all 5 of us, all the girls.
Yes.
And then that guy from Germany walked out in his little boxers.
Hey,
It wasn't
that was
boxers,
the
it
reason
was-
I would stay at a hostel next time. Are you kidding? Wow.
It was briefs. And he
It was
came out
nice.
like, "Hey, what are you guys doing for dinner?" And he's half naked. And I was like, "This
He
is
was
so
the only
weird."
boy.
It's
And he was the only boy
Yes.
with a bunch of girls. He's like, hey, let me just go ahead and
hey, what are we having for dinner? Do you guys
skivvies.
did you have a good day? And I was like, God, this is weird. I'm 50 years old and I'm what? Married? Like what? That and then the other was when I was on our last night before we finished. And I was on the bottom bunk, and you guys remember that was a shit day. It was so hard. It was such a hard day. And I'm pissed off that I had blisters, and I'm just not in a good mood. And I'm laying on my thing on my phone, and I turn my head, and there's an old man pulling his pants down, getting into his bunk bed that was 3 feet away from me. And I was like,
Was that the
wow.
one where there was 18 people in the room?
Yes.
Like that was the biggest hostel.
Yes.
That Oh, I was on the top.
There were
I
18
didn't see a thing.
people. And you couldn't talk. Remember? You couldn't talk, and we would whisper, and, we were so giggly, and we couldn't talk.
God, that's funny.
So that was my eye-opening. Like, I've never thought that I would stay in a hostel, and I did, and it was fine. It was fine. I'd do it again.
It was fine. Yeah, I agree. I'd
do it
too. I
again.
was totally teasing. Yeah, I thought it was great, actually.
It's the price is right.
The price is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and all you need is a place to sleep, for goodness sake. So
Yeah,
a shower,
especially
and a
in the
place to
Camino.
sleep.
You're so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. So that was mine.
Very good. I'm still trying to think of what surprised me. I would say 2 things surprised me. I thought that I was going to have some kind of epiphany.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I walked a lot by myself before ever getting to you guys. And literally nothing came to me. I kept trying to do those videos thinking I was going to come on the video and be like, all right,
I
all
figured
of
out.
these,
I figured it out.
the guides have told me that
Yeah.
all the spiritual and historical people that have walked, I feel them running through my bones.
Yes.
And I had none of that. And I am not kidding. Like there came a point where I was trying to make stuff up. Like,
You
and I
did say
couldn't.
something about your toothpaste.
Yeah. I mean,
Remember?
that's
Yeah,
about
you
as,
did.
yeah,
That
I
was
was
moving.
so,
Stuck with me. 3 years later, I'm still thinking about the
I know.
toothpaste.
She remembers. See what I'm saying? It
we
was
don't know
powerful.
exactly what it was,
I don't
but
remember,
it was
but it
toothpaste.
was like, wow, that's deep about toothpaste.
Wow. Yeah.
I called Jana. Jana, I think we need to intervene.
We
He's
gotta
going
go
crazy.
earlier. We gotta get her earlier. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked because it actually made me feel at the end of it, watching what you said earlier, how many people were going through things, and I mean some big things.
Yeah.
You know, I saw, I heard, I listened to a lot of people's stories, and by the end of it, when I came home, I thought, man, I guess there was nothing to really go through.
You have it all figured out.
Guess I'm good.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, at that time in my life, I think my head was very clear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I had planned it 11 months prior.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was working out every day, walking. I was up to 12 miles by the time I left. I didn't have any sores. My body was conditioned. So it was like,
Yeah.
I was expecting all of that. I was expecting like hard days and digging deep and like when you're a military,
Yeah.
when they do those crawls, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In the dirt and the mud. And
Yeah. Boot camp.
I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, boot camp.
Boot camp.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like boot camp. And I didn't get any of that. I was drinking beer. I was eating bread, sandwiches, calamari,
Yeah,
cheese,
cheese.
ham.
Lots of cheese.
Ham.
Ham. Lots of ham.
I was eating all of it. And I never had a single deep thought the whole time. Even when you guys came. Like I was laughing the whole time. I never once felt bothered by a single thing that was going on. It was like I was in a zone.
Yeah, that's
And
probably
that
what
is
it was.
one thing that happens. I honestly believe in walking meditation.
Yep.
After that trip, I realized what I think happens is walking meditation, because it's so
Repetitive.
repetitive.
Yeah.
It's puts you in this state of just like not numbness, but a very almost like a slight hum.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Of your brain.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was shocked by is when somebody that we were with, we went to dinner that night with those other two girls, and they asked for what did she ask for? That kind of bread?
Gluten-free?
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free bread. I was
That was
shocked when
every
the woman
night.
goes, yeah, we have it. And I was like,
Yeah.
you have gluten-free.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
who the hell on a Camino prepares for gluten-free bread? And sure as shit, they had it. So I was
Every
shocked by
place
that.
we went had it.
Yeah.
Was shocking
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Because
So
I wouldn't
Spain
think
is-
anybody would cater to something that's,
that's
so
because they
specific
have a
like
lot
that.
of Americans that probably do that Camino.
Gluten-free.
Yeah.
I need a gluten-free.
Well,
I mean,
that's surely
really,
not a
yeah.
Spaniard asking for gluten-free.
Take out the gluten. The Americans are coming. You, the United States doesn't want no gluten. Got to take it out, guys. Of course, that's not their accent.
No.
Yeah, not even close. But yeah. Anyway, but yes,
That was fun. It was a
that
fantastic
was,
trip.
It really was. Yeah, it was
We have to
awesome.
repeat it. I mean, not necessarily that, but some form or fashion
We're
of
going to.
Oh, I agree.
a couple days away to go walking for hours.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I agree. I would love to do that because
I'm
it was
down.
really amazing.
You
Yeah.
know, there's you know that there's a new trail on the coast of California. This is no kidding. So
Wow.
I was looking for my sister and I. There's a trail that they're building. I think it started in like 2019. It's a walking
Yeah.
trail that goes down through. I think it starts in Santa Barbara, but I believe
do
they're
it.
going to do it from north to south.
Really?
Starts in Santa Barbara and comes all the way down the coast.
Wow.
And they
Oh
have
my
like a
gosh.
national forest that you walk through
Yeah.
and everything.
Okay, let's do
that'd
it, and
be
then we can get
awesome.
our 5 or 6 listeners to do it with us.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
my
fun.
gosh.
We can do a whole big walk with our
That
6
would be
listeners.
awesome. Oh my
Wouldn't that
God,
be
let's
great?
do it.
Love it.
And then
think we should do it.
instead of saying Buen Camino, we could be like, Hiya!
Hiya.
Hiya!
We'll start
Oh
a
my
whole
God, I love
thing.
It's a
We'll start a whole
movement.
thing.
Let's do
Hiya
it.
Trail. Hiya Trail.
Hiya Trail. I love it.
Hey, listen,
We gotta-
that's where we got to ask people to write down in the comments if they would do it with us
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Oh my
And if
gosh,
they
Let
would,
us know.
Yeah. Do you want to do it in 2024 or
Yes.
2025? We'll set it up.
Yeah.
2025.
Okay.
2024 is too soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because maybe we'll have more than 6 listeners. Maybe
Okay.
we'll have
Yeah.
like
10.
because you know out of 6, only 2's going to want to do
That's
it, and one's
true.
going to
That's
drop
right.
out because
Right.
they're not going to be allowed.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Right.
So
Need a
let's do
bigger
a little
following.
more like 2025.
Okay.
5.
All right. Sounds
That
good.
would be great.
All right.
Put it on the
Oh,
books.
love it.
That sounds great. Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right.
All right. What's your
well,
takeaway?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Our
Jana?
takeaway and how we can incorporate it into our week. So let's think about that. So
Perfect.
I feel like the takeaway is like not to be so quick to judge, to be honest. Like for me personally,
Ooh, that's good.
I have a history of this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. So, you meet somebody and you go, I don't know. And then what's funny is they end up being my best friend. So, but I mean, I do think we're all quick to judge without knowing what's going on in their life. So that would be, that'd be my takeaway. Just take a step back and maybe not be so judgy. Give it a minute,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to work on that this week as well.
Yeah.
I think we could even take it a step further and be like, let's make ourselves get to know every person we're come in contact with. Ask a probing question, like at Starbucks. Not how's your day? Where did you get that top? That is so cute.
Yeah.
Or I like your hair, style. Have you always had it blue, or do you change colors, depending on the season? Like really getting to know the person
and
making a
light-spirited.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And, taking even that a step further.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, gosh.
Reach out to the person you in your mind just made a judgment on.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you can do it with somebody, but then go like, you make a judgment, somebody's pushing a cart back or somebody didn't push a cart back to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And you're like,
right?
It's only right there. You could have pushed the damn cart back. Instead of thinking that in my head, honestly, this week I'm going to be like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I love your car.
Run up to their car side and be like, I'm just curious, like, how are you? Like, I just saw that you
I'm just
didn't
curious,
push your cart
why
back.
didn't you push the cart back?
No, none of that.
Are you
None
going
of
through
that.
something difficult?
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm serious. I'm
I
going to
hear
be
you,
like,
though.
hey, you want me to take the cart? I'm going in the grocery store, even if I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yes.
be like, I'll
Yeah,
take it.
I
I'll
like
grab
it.
it. Thanks for the cart.
Yeah,
I'm going to
It
even
is
push
true.
it to the person I'm judging.
that's good.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
for that. I mean,
Very
I think
good
that's
then,
great.
girls.
Okay, we have to end on with the whistling. Jana, can you whistle?
I can do this kind of whistle. I'm at this like baseball.
Oh, do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do it. Do it.
All right, y'all.
Yeah,
Plug your
no.
ears.
Not too loud.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
Jana.
Yeah.
That is such a
I have
badass thing to do.
I had
It is
baseball
badass.
It is
boys,
badass.
so I was the
I
mom
know.
whistling on the
You're a
benches
boy
for
mom.
my boys. I
Yeah.
am a boy mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
for sure.
badass thing.
But I
Okay,
like
then we're
whistling.
sending all you all out there, our 6 listeners. We're sending you all positive vibes and wishing you a beautiful week.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you next week. Keep tuning in.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.